Today we start about the topic of programming languages, abstract data type, information hiding, encapsulation, and type definition. So, if previous lecture we learn about the subprograms, what type of functions, what type of method we are using in our programming languages. So today we learn about the data types. We already learned about basic data types like integer, float data type, character data type. But when we define these data types as an abstract, so we hide their definition in our program. So today's lecture, what we learn, how the abstract data type are using in programming languages, what is the use of programming in their data types, what is the data hiding and the encapsulations, what is the advantage of encapsulations, and what the benefit of using abstract data types and encapsulation in programming language. So when the completing this lecture, we complete to learn how these things are in using our programming languages, the abstract data type, their data hiding and encapsulation, and what is the benefits, what is the definitions to contribution to the design of programming languages. So first we start from abstract data types. Programming languages provide various mechanisms for organizing and managing data. These mechanisms help in creating reusable. So please consider on these terms. Reusable means when we write same code in another location, another subprogram, so we need to define all these parameters for that consent. But when we use these terms, so we need to some modular code that is easy to maintain, understand, and debug. Among the most fundamental concepts are abstract data types, information hiding, encapsulation, and type definition. Abstract data types are a way of defining data structure that provide a particular behavior or set of operations while hiding the underlying implementation detail. So we just only define the data structure, not anything like the detailing of that structures, like we include a class of BCA, but we don't declare our number of students, our number of subprograms, number of subjects. So just we create an object for that class and we hide all other details they called a abstract data type. Information hiding and encapsulation are related concepts that refer to the practice of hiding implementation details. Just be declaring how the structure is constructed, but we don't define how the implementation part for that is majorly taking place and how these process are defined. We just hiding these implementation part that are included in information hiding and also called as encapsulation. These helps to prevent unauthorized access, which means when we reuse, when we reuse our code, but when we declare these code in subprogram, subtype of our functions, but these functions are handling by another user. So that means we hiding from the unauthorized, which means the person who is taking these all detail in their part, but we don't define much about that. So he is not changing, he is not taking any changes, any other access for that. And modifications. When anyone modify that code, which means this suffer in our programming, so we hiding these details by the using of encapsulation and information hiding. Improve code maintainability and reduce code complexity. Means we just write the declaration part. So we don't require to implement part code in our program. So that means the code complexity also be less. Type definition is another important concept that allows developer means which who want to program that code for their purpose to create new data types for aliases. Aliases means there another definition for anyone. Like anyone have a two names. One is pet name and one which is document. So this is aliases also using for their data type. Abstraction is the process of simplifying complex entities by focusing only on the most essential aspect while ignoring irrelevant or unnecessary details. So when we use any type of data in our program, but we don't need to define. We only just simplifying this is the terms we are using in this program, but we don't define on the behalf of that. So that means unnecessary detail we not required to write on that program is called as a abstraction. When we use these abstraction in our programming, so we require to write before any data type, any functions, the abstract keyword for that. Abstraction can be achieved through process abstraction. So this process called as the abstraction, which uses subprogram. Subprogram means the part of any programming. When we use some small program for that is called the subprogram. Also functions to perform specific tasks or through data abstractions, which involves defining complex data types. Complex data types means array, link, linked list. So these are the data types we are just using in simpler way so that we require to use abstractions and hiding their implementation detail for the user. It refers to creating a simplified representation of entity by including only the most essential attribute. We just define only essential attribute. Nothing else is required to define. These simplified representation provide a higher level view of entity relationship, making it easier to understand. In programming, nearly all programming languages support process abstraction. So our subject is all about basic details of any programming languages they are using in their programming. So these part also for the any programming languages features like abstractions, encapsulations. When you are learning about C++, so C++ have this feature very proudly, which means C++ is a object-oriented programming languages. When they declare only object, they declare only class, which means they are hiding all the details of like we just create a class for a student, but we don't define the name of student, the mobile numbers of student means we don't define the implementation part of these students like their phone number, their many attributes we are hiding from that. So these part called as a encapsulation. In programming languages, the program are the block of code. They can be called from within another program or subprogram, and they can have their own set of variable and data structure. So when we talking about the subprogram, which means the block, when we write any simple program, we define the studio man file code C program. After that, we start from main functions. After we create another function. So these small part of that program called a subprogram. And their subprogram also have their data types, their attribute, their anything they have for their purpose, their use. So set of variables and data structure for that block of program are required for that. In addition to process abstractions, all programming languages designed since 1980 also support data abstraction. So that means all the programming languages which are using now in the nearly 1980, they all use the abstraction part for their use. Data abstraction allows programmer to define complex data types. So simple data types, we learn about integer, float, character. But when we talking about the complex data types like array, linked list, binary tree, graph, so they, all the data types are called as a complex data types. These data types are we using with the help of abstractions, and we hide the detail, hide the implementation part from the user, which means when we deliver, we deploy that our project to the user, but don't just know about what type of the code they write for their data. So it's abstraction. So finally, the term defined as a instance of a general principle. Abstract data type or are an instance of a general principle in software engineering which goes by many names. So there are many names for that and with slightly different sets of meanings. So some of the are here we are mentioning. First one is abstraction, omitting or hiding low-level detail with a simple high-level idea. So when just hiding simple type of details from the user, it's called abstraction. Modularity, dividing a system into component or module. Module means when just we have a subject like C programming, but we define these subject in 14 modules or 4 modules or 3 modules or 4 units or 14 unit means we just design in our way how we implement these way and how we test on that it is good or not, it is best for our programming, best for our learning part. So it is tested, reason about and reused separately from the rest of the system. Encapsulation, building a wall around a module so that the module is responsible for its own internal behavior and bug is another part of the system can't admit it. It means when write a code, so this project have many line of code like 1000 line of code, but we we convert this code in with some blocks, which means when we just like we are writing any paragraph, but we are defining in bullet in or other some notations. So that means we just know what the part of this line are having some error or not. So we easily find it and we easily change it, but it is not differ from another part of that program. So that means when error in line number 15, but it's not refer to any other code of that program, and the bug is not damaging any other of subprogram, subblocks. So it is part of integration. Information hiding also the same name like hiding detail of module implementation from the rest of the system. So that those details can be changed later without changing the rest of it. So we just knowing about these terms, it is not applicable in all languages. But when we learning about the C, C++, Java, Java, many other languages, so when we use these data types, like we need to know about abstract data type, so you just know about what is the abstract. Abstract means when we just define, just declaring only declaration part, we hiding all other details for that part. It is used for unauthorized access. So we just knowing this term. Okay, okay. No, fine now. This is no problem from my side. If your internet is breaking, also first from your side. So all these terms are just simple sets of another terms. So it is not the same, but it's slightly different. So data abstraction is a technique in computer programming that allows developer means when you write a program, so you are also a developer, also a programmer, also a software engineer. So you need to create some program, some project that are maybe simple or complex. So when we use all these forms, all these data, when we need to know about abstraction and these data type, in short, we call that ADT. ADT, whenever you see in the programming ADT, just just know about ADT means abstract data type. So when we use complex data structures. These abstraction is widely used in any programming languages, but when you use this term in data structure, it is widely used. Data are defined by a set of operation or functions. Okay. Anyone, please reply in chat. Is no correct or not? I'm audible. Oh, now fine. So the basic idea of data abstraction is to structure the program. Data to use compound data. Compound means we combinedly use many data types in a single way. So they compound data objects so that they operate on abstract data. The representation of object of the ADT as well as the operation that can be performed on them. So ADT just need to know it is only the way we hiding our main details, main programming path from the user side. So we just define our any data type by the keyword of abstractions. So there are some kind of level for using these data abstractions. First one is physical level, second one logical level, and third one is view level. So these terms define exactly how the way we can use the abstraction in our purpose. So first one is physical level. So just know about the physical means we directly touch with the internal part of that means the physical level is the lowest level of data abstraction. It deals with how data actually stored in memory. So whenever we start any programming, we use any type of data types like we declare an integer a equal to 10. That means when we declare, so it's required some kind of memory in our RAM. So when we defining the memory, so memory is a part of physical location of any part of your RAM. So it is called a physical level, and physical level is called actual stored data where the memory located. So these levels require knowledge of access method. So when we want to know about that what is the physical level of that memory. So we need to have the knowledge of access methods. Access method means we need to know which location the data types integer having their memory, and we declare the any type of tree. So tree means we have some complex data structure. So these the how we can arrange these data type on the memory locations. So such as sequential or random access. Whenever we just using an array. Array means the continuous memory location for same data types, which having some same structured. So same structure means when we just organize these in our memory, so it is maybe sequential. We just write our data on our hard drive, like we store a movie in our drive. But when we retrieve these movies, yeah, these movie part from that location, so we need to know where is the access to gain these the location, but it is not directly access. When part of the programming we need to retrieve methods, we need to access methods. These are maybe random method, maybe sequential method, as well file organizations. So in our computer systems we have some drive, C drive, D drive, E drive, we have a pen drives, many parts we have for our memory, but these are direct file organization part. We don't have some right to arrange these files. But in programming, when need we are required to know all the methods to access these programming interfaces, these programming the data types locations, how the data type locations are called. So whenever you just program, you know all these things, but you just know what the level of abstractions. I just tell you about abstractions. Abstraction just define a word hiding. Hiding means there are some levels. We just know. So we hiding the complexity from the physical level. So user don't know what is the actual memory that data types give. So this is the physical level of abstractions. When we use to hide the actually stored memory locations to user, this called a physical level abstraction. Second one is logical level. B-tree and hashing are the part of data structure. Whenever you just learn about these data structure, you know what is B plus tree, binary tree, so graph. So these are the part of complex data structure. The second one abstraction is logical level. Logical level, you just know logical means you have some logic behind it, but you don't know exactly what is going on. You just some assumptions, some perception for that. So logical level of data abstractions deal with the information that is stored in the database in the form of tables. These level also store the relationship between the data entities in relatively simple structure. At this level, the information available to the user at the view level is known. If you don't know what is the view level. So first we need to know what is the view level. There are three level of abstraction. First one physical level, second one logical level. This it's also called conceptual level, and third one is view level. View level is just upper part, high level of abstraction. You just know the PPT is running. You all know where is PPT is located in my PC, in my PC folder. So this is only view level on your zone. But when you define the data, so this is called logical level, which means you know these PPTs are stored in search laptop. But exactly when you finding actually where is the data stored, that called as a physical level. You also learn all these things in many subjects like data database system. So you know what is the physical level for the data. You all know when you sign up for any social site. So just you putting your details on that sign up part. But exactly you know where is the your data is storing. No, this is only view level of your way. But when you know which type of languages, which type of processing they are using, that means it is logical level, which means you know some structures about that steps. But when you exactly know, we are writing sign up form for Facebook, which means the Facebook server is located on California and US, and there is some location, some data center, there is some racks, some computer servers, and there are some hard disks there, the level, which means actually physical level of memory. When you well known about that, that means it is a physical level abstraction. But the meta, the Facebook, the social media, they are hiding all these details. They only provide you view level. So it is a highest level of abstraction they are performing on their level. What is the advantage of abstraction? So it simplifies complexity. So it is best use of simplifies complexity. Data structure simplifies the complexity of data by dividing it into three different levels. We already learned about that, like physical level, like view level, and like logical level. So these are three different levels to simplify our problem in some state complexities measure. Facilitate maintenance. Data abstraction facilitate maintenance for a database system. When changes are made to a particular level, the other level don't need to be modified, making it easier to maintain and update to the system. So when we abstract all these terms, all these data types in our programming, so that means when we changes in one part, so it is not reflected to another part. It is not required to modify another part of that program. It is also encourages data independencies, which means independence means which whenever we use any data, it is not dependent on another part of the uh, program, like subprogram. We simply, this is our program. We are having some subprogram, like we are 5 to 10 subprogram in any program of advantage of abstraction. But when we use data, any data type over here, but which data type we reuse on these subprogram, so it is not dependent on that program. So it is help us because of abstraction. Encourages data independence. Data abstraction encourages data independence, meaning that the changes made at the one level do not affect to the other level. This independence provides flexibility in data model. Enhanced security, which means by providing a view level and physical level, allow users to access only a part of the data system. So means they don't know where is the your data is originally stored. So it is only provide view level to allowed user. They don't provide physical level already or only available for the developer. So this ensures the sensitive information is protected from unauthorized provide data consistency. Data abstraction provide data consistency by enforcing rules and constraints at the logical level, which help to ensure that the data entered into the database is accurate and consistent. Which means whenever we change in any data, so it reflects all other data are depending on that. But when it is accurate and consistent, that is only changes. Increase productivity. Data abstraction increases productivity by enabling developers to focus on specific tasks within databases. So, abstract data types allow programmers to create new data types that are not defined by the language. So, we already learn many data types like user code. So, whenever we need to use new data types according to our programming style, so abstract data types allow us to create these data types for the programming purpose. Entities are viewed using existing data types. So it is not integrating from our side, but it is by default taking place of the programming itself, but it changes by their meaning. Operation to encapsulate data and operation is a way that is independent of their implement. Okay, so maybe that is good, but I'm trying to check your messages. That time. I also noted for this white, so don't now it's fine. So it's now okay. Oh, some network issues may be latches, so you know, here properly. Okay, sure. So these abstract data types are based on two principles, which is data abstraction and information hiding. So first one is data abstraction. Each principle is used to create a new data type from an existing one, which means we have many data types. We are just using these data types with the help of abstract keyword. So it is has different meaning and it is accurate with the help of abstract data type. It involves identifying the essential properties of a data type and ignoring the rest. So that means it is only define the essential properties, not originally the data types having some other some some programs. It is hiding from that side. These abstractions allow to focus on the relevant aspect of the data types without worrying about the detail of how it is implemented. So we just declaring, like we just declare abstract data types means abstract array or some the members of data array. It is only declaring that sentences. After these part, all the data are hiding from the user side. So it is first principle for data abstraction. Second one is information hiding. This principle is used to protect the internal detail. Internal detail means we have some program for that abstract part. So this part is not accessed by external. External means any other user which is not the part of that programming, that developer part. So it all details are hiding from that side. It is wide use of. Edit is using in data structure very useful part. So whenever you learn about data structure, so data structure and algorithm, you will learn these data types in detail with the many examples. In our principle of programming languages, there are only theoretical part. What is the abstract data types? So there are many definitions for there. So already we simplify, like editing can be implemented in various ways, like object-oriented programming languages. I already tell you about the C++. There are some important features for C++ like encapsulation. Encapsulation or encapsulations defined in these lecture also. Editing only mention which operation is to be performed, but not the operation how will be implemented. So whenever we declare, we just calculate some for some uh, part of program. But when we just declare some as a abstract, that means in the some function, many data types, many function we are using, it is hiding from the another user. Means it is how implemented. The implementation part is just hiding from the abstract data type are designed to encapsulate data in operation in a way that is independent of their implements. So, like some example are there we are having, like we have a stake. So, stake is a abstract data type. When we declare stake as a abstract data type, so stake is a collection of elements that support two operations. When you just know about stake means when you are collecting book in your array. So one by one you arranging these books. So it is called a process by stake operation. Where is some element are we are pushing. So there is two operation, push operation and pop operation. So to add an element to the top of stake, which means we just collecting books, but we whenever we remove these books, that operation called is pop operation. So to remove the top element from the stack, so it just defining only stack as the abstract part. But both the operation in that program like push and pop are hiding from the external resources. So it is achieving through the array, linked list, or any other data structure, but the interface remain the same. And we just hiding all these implementation part from the another user. So in OOPS, in object-oriented programming languages, we can implement a strict data type using a class. The class can have two methods, push and pop method, which encapsulate the data and operation related to the stack. So we just declaring the stack operation, but we hiding all the details with the help of data abstract data type. Second part is information hiding. Information hiding is a programming technique that conceals the design of a component that is anticipated to undergo modification in the future form from the component that is rarely on the kit. David Kanaj first proposed the concept of information hiding in 1972, emphasizing the importance of shielding critical design systems from client and end user. So we are we all are working on the programming part. We are all learning on computer software and all these programming languages which are helping us to construct these projects. So we don't want to declare our all the structure, all the data structure of our project to all the users. So we need to hide some information to unauthorized access, which means just we putting one project, but someone else just taking our code from our project and build another software like same. So it is help us to take our code secretly with privacy part. So it is a critical design system. When we use some mathematical operation, some logics, which is taking very long time for us, for you as a programmer. But whenever you just taking any project and you are applying on that, but another user which is not just some main part hiding from our side and he is taking our code from our program, which means he is not taking some hard step, but he is just taking our part for his use. So it is just taking our code for many type of illegal construction of code, illegal of the design of systems. So we require to access these program hide information from that kind of user, that kind of unauthorized access. So some example for like a calculation that produces specific result is conceived following a functional mode that categorizes it. As a type of information hiding, the benefit of information hiding include greater flexibility as it enables programmer to modify a program more easily. What is the key point for information hiding? Information hiding is a software design principle that restricts access to certain aspect of program or module from its client. So it is very important to we need to hide our just very important part of that code to hide from the client that which they want in their site. The main objective of information ID is to minimize the impact of any changes to the implementation detail of a module on its client. So whenever you deploy your project to your client, but if you whenever you give access your code to your client and your client made some changes on the project, so means they changes their implementation part of your project. So whenever these details are just taking from another side, which means you need to more focusedly, you need to rebuild that software, you need to some debugging for that. So we just hiding these complex part from the user side. This is achieved by hiding the implementation details. So we need to hide these details from our side. Information hiding promote modularity in software design by creating well-defined space between modules. The principle used also used for reducing coupling with a system as it limits the interaction between different components. So these are the some theoretical models we can apply in our systems. How we can apply information hiding. So which is very critical challenge for implementing information hiding in deciding which information you need to uh, reveal and which information you want fancy. According to the Panas means he is the man who uses first time the information hiding. The guiding principle. These are the some principle. These are the three steps process that involve identifying design element that need to be done, isolating them into separate modules, and designing intermediate interfaces that are insensitive to change in the underlying secret. Which means you know betterly when you program any code. So which part of these programs are more secret, more sensitive. So you take in between some interfaces, interlinks. So you just control on that interfaces, which means it is secretly underlinked by the program. The first step to identify the design elements that are likely to change or need to be hidden. So first you need to know which part of that program you want to hidden from external entities. So first confirm, first identify that elements from your side. After that, second step, you want to isolate these secret in one module, in our own module. So you know if anybody can change in that section, that program section. So you just take this code in one module, in one class, in one function that you can control. The third is step is involved designing intermediate interface that are abstract. So we just achieving information hiding by the help of abstraction. So insensitivity to changes in the underlying secret to prevent them from being leaked or revealed by the interfaces. Information hiding promote modularity in software design by creating well-defined interfaces between modules, which reduce the complexity of the system as a whole. Which means when just achieving all that information, all these steps, then we can say our changes part, our sensitive programming part, our design part may be secure. What is the benefit to hide these information? Information hiding is a technique that enables developer to make changes to a system without disrupting. So all these limitations. By limiting access to a model, internal developer can create clean, well-defined interface that make it easier to manage software complexity. So information hiding also promotes better code organization. Whenever you know which part is sensitive part, so you just like we have some money in our house, so we just log it out in a separate place, separate location. So this so information hiding promote better code organization, documentation, making it easier to maintain and debug software system over time. It is benefited all these developers, programmers, or project coordinators, they are performing their best, but if they don't hide their sensitive information, if anybody can change that information, which means your project in not good way, representation. So that means whenever you construct your own code, you focus some main part of that code. It is taking so long to resolve your problem, but whenever you can live these program, this code to your external user, which means you have a risk part. So fail to know, we just taking some step to take some restrictions, some boundaries for that code to control that changes. What is the disadvantages? We know when we taking this that code from that part in another part, so some additional layer of abstraction we need to construct. We need we our efficiency. Efficiency means our productivity is taking some more spaces, more time complexity, and more space complexity, which means we take another code, we need some restrictions for that. It is not easily accessible. So the additional abstractions layer used to hide implementation detail can sometimes result in slower program execution. Age more processing required to perform same task. Limitations also there, which means when we bound something by our way, so it is not accessible for all other programs easily. So this can limit the program's overall capabilities. Also, it taking development time. We know our program is not just 5 to 10 lines. It is taking thousands of lines of code, which means we have many, many sensitive part of that line of code. So whenever we implementing the information handling, so it is taking for another time for the hiding part. It is also complexity in testing. That means whenever we hide some implementation part, so it is not taking easily. It can be harder to determine if the module or class is functionally intended. Means whenever anyone is testing on our code, so it is required some more knowledge about that, some more access from our side. So it is taking some long time, some long process, some long testing scenario. So these are not just limitations. These are some boundaries. If we know when we taking some better steps, so we need to also some negative impact of that also. So last one, the meaning of encapsulations. You all know caps, which means we have some data and we just around by that capsule in there. So encapsulation is a concept they involve combining data with a method or function that operate on. We just putting all that functions data in one form. We are combining all these in a simple way that just directly restricted by our side. Encapsulation, when we combine all these information in one place and after that we just log it. It's called encapsulations. So it can also refer to restricting direct access to some of data such as object component. Encapsulation is a key principle of objects. I also said C++ is very best feature having the name of encapsulation. There are also some features like inheritance. So there are many features in C++, but we are learning principle of programming languages. There are many concepts. So we need to know all these concepts. So that enables developer to create more modular, reusable, and secure code. Also, brief you these old terms like abstraction, information hiding, encapsulation. All these are terms are same, but they are kindly somewhat slightly different. Encapsulation help us to hide the implementation part. So all these like abstractions, information hiding, they all hide the implementation detail of their program, their code, but their differences are they only hiding the data type. Here they combining all the code in one form. After that, they define only the object and protect its data from being modified. So all problems are same. They are they are secret their code from external resources, external unauthorized access, which can help prevent health and security vulnerability. Encapsulation data in the function, the manipulate the data are bundled together into the single unit called a class. So when we talk about the encapsulation, so my example for a class, PC class and class, so where many students in their class, they have some subject combination, but we just putting only class name, like we declare class VC1, but we have some attribute for that, like company. Wherever one company name like TCS, we just defining TCS. But there are many departments. We hiding all their departments like account department, there are HR department, there are working, they are second class, they fourth class, so many employees. Some employees information like their date of birth, their addresses. So all these attribute we are hiding. How we implemented this attribute is the help of class and object in object programming. In C++, there are some other methods. So these are trained by the programming languages. Note, just concept is different. It is using in different languages by the different kind of networks. The class encapsulates the data in functions. They manipulate the data are bundled together into a single unit called a class. There are some kind of members of the class. There are majorly three type of members. First one is public, second one is private, third one is protected. So we all know public platform means it is accessible for all. We just defining this authority part in my way. We have three type of members in a class. Like one is public, second is private, third one is protected, which means public members are accessed by all these subprograms. Whenever we declare any member by keyword public, which means this member having the public keyword, it is accessed in all kind of programs in the project. But when we declare any member as a private, which means it is only used in that program where are using. And third one is protected. It is also same kind of thing, but it is only access in that method. So we have some example maybe in there. So the class can contain both public, private members. Private members are hidden from the outside world and can be only accessed by the method defined within the class. So there are slightly difference when we talking about the functions method. So in C++, we create class for that. We don't create any function. We have many functions, but we have function in that class. Public members, on the other hand, are accessible to all code that can access the object. So whenever we declare any member as a public, which means it is accessible to all code. But whenever we declare any function, any member, any data type as a private, which means it is only be accessed by the method defined within that class. Encapsulation can also be used to create modular code by breaking down a large program into smaller or manageable parts. So we have best option in encapsulations. We just create some modular code by breaking down, which means we just break code in some many parts, and these parts are more manageable. Encapsulation is closely related to other groups like inheritance. So these are also some principle of C++ languages uh, like OOPS, inheritance, and polymorphism, which can also help to improve the model of the user review. So there are example of encapsulation when we use structure by the help of struct keyword. In the C, struct can be used to encapsulate data and function into a single. There are another way to encapsulate function in C using pointer to function. There are some methods you already learned about that in C programming language, maybe now or later. A third way to encapsulate code is used to header file. You know all there are studio.h, which means studio, it is not just a name. There are some library functions are bounded in that header. These header files like a capsule. In the capsule, there are input, output, libraries, functions are included. Whenever you just use include, h include, studio.h, which means there is no mean of that line. But in that line, there are many methods, many functions in these header files which perform many tasks. Like we use in C, scanf, printer, they are also part of these header files. So a header file is a separate file that contain function, prototype, and other declarations that are used by the other programming program. The last one is type definition. So type definition is a statement. They define a new data type, specify the characteristics of data type such as its size, range of values, and operations. So any data types like we have a integer, we have a name, we have a age, we have a person. So any these data types, their size, their range, their operations are defined by the type definition. Type definitions are used to create new data types that are not used to the programming languages whenever. you all know there are some fixed data type, but we need to create new. Then we just type new, and when we create a name, with name as a new data type, so we require that type keyword for that. Different programming languages have different syntax. Syntax means there are rules. So any programming languages have their definition or their kind of rules, mechanism, or defining types. Some languages allow the programmer to define new type using class or structure, while other use type DEF state. So here is the main syntax for creating any new data types. You just write before the TYPE, which means type definition, or like I want to create as a new data type. Then we just write type def AJAY, which means now Ajay is a new data type for the program. So like there is some other uh, example for the defining a new data type with a structure in C. You can define a new data type by using a structure. A structure is user data type get group related variables of different data type under a single. Defining new data types with type define. I already tell you type define. You have integer and age. So there is a new data type creating with the help of type define. It is a age. Age is a data type, but is a new data type for your programming. So by extension, we have defined a new data type called age. That is a alias of the existing data type. So whenever you use integer, so it is now have another name, another data type with the help of type define. Whenever you use integer, that is now called as a age. So we taking all these concepts like abstraction, how the abstraction data type is help us in our programming. What is the data hiding? What is the encapsulations? What is the advantage of encapsulations? What is the benefit to use abstract data types and encapsulations? What is the type definitions? Which one we need to create new data types, new aliases for our previous data types? So all these terms we are just learning in this lesson. So I just now concluded. Hope you understand all these concepts. I know this theoretical part of this discussion is too long, so I now concluded. Whenever we take next session, we taking some discussion. Okay, sir.